All right, guys, those just checking out. We just finished our matchup between the Ultramarines that are black and red that look a lot like Deathwatch
Just a cosmetic difference.
versus the Necrons with a final score of Necrons 64 to an Ultramarine Death Marine
Vanguard.
65. I didn't think for a second. Like, wait.
It was by a point. Who won? It was, yeah. So very obviously as close as the game can get, 64, 65.
Yeah.
Yeah. Early on, it didn't look like it was going to be that close, but it was.
No, when that early turn where I hit the king, or hit you with the king, and did not take out the Land Raider, I was just looking at him like, the Eradicators get out, the Centurions can move. That's it. King's gone, and that's going to take all of. I needed the king for a little longer. Not to mention the fact that if the king's going to go down, I at least want him to soak up more firepower. And well, the king did soak up more firepower, and he didn't go down. Actually, he lived till the end of the game. Was almost back to full wounds too.
Yeah, so exciting to see him come back to full health.
Speaking of coming back, we'll talk about that cute little trick I pulled in their game. But even so, I'm happy with the results because as soon as I made the play, we were talking about it, and I realized I misplayed. I should not have gone after the Land Raider, even with how low it was in wounds. I should have landed and gone after the Centurions, taking the Silent King, the Death Marks, and everything into the Centurions instead of the Land Raider. The Land Raider becomes a twofold. I have to take out the Land Raider, then I have to have extra damage over there to take out the Eradicators. When that failed, now I have all this stuff right in front of the Land Raider and the Eradicator, allowing you not to have to move very far. Even if I didn't take out the Centurions by eliminating a couple of them, it significantly reduces their damage output, which the Eradicators don't have deep strike. They really need to get in close to do that extra damage. That should have been the play. And the Land Raider would have had to drive around buildings and everything to get over to me. I could have done a lot more work working out of that corner to remove assets to get in later in the game. So I realized once I had the turn and once I looked at it and started looking at the numbers, I was like, yeah, that was not where I should have gone first. I should have went into the Centurions, try to clear them from that flank, and then move in.
Because Centurions do not reanimate.
No, but you know what does reanimate?
Everything else in your army.
Death Marks. Listen, you can't be mad at that play, though.
I'm always mad at them coming back.
You cannot be mad. That was a beautiful play. That was a beautiful play. So I used to, with Necron Warriors, when people would charge me, I'd leave one right in front where they charged in and then remove all of them in the middle. Well, because of coherency checks, you have to pull models until you maintain coherency. So I'd pull that one guy that was stuck in combat so they couldn't pile into me, and now they're not in combat. I can shoot. Or in the case of Hypercrypt, pick up. Because of I have the one command point strat that lets me still reanimate. That didn't do very much for me, but it was nice to have. And then landing near the Catacomb command barge with the reanimator there and just go, you know what, I'm going to pop this Resorb now, and bam, 9 guys back. And that squad lived till the end of the game with one dude remaining. I'm going to say that one dude was the same dude from before, too. He just could not die. Can't tell me I'm wrong. We don't know.
Yeah, I killed 20 of his buddies, so.
Yeah.
10-man squad. 100% casualty rate.
19.
200% casualty rate, yeah.
I think it was 19 because there was one that lived out of the first 10 and then went back to full. And then you dropped it down to 2, and I resurrected 1. So there's the 10. So yeah, 19, 19, almost 200, almost 200%. So there was that. The one hex mark that was just giving us all sorts of trouble over there. Just didn't want to die, and that was fun.
Yeah, nobody was really good at combat, close combat and melee in that interaction.
So what are we doing here?
And as we noticed with your all Necron or all character list with the Necrons, some of your characters are way tougher than they should be. Having higher toughness or 5 or 6 wounds when just makes them tough to chew through if you're not putting the right attacks into them.
So for the Vanguard Marines that you played today, the Space Marine Ultramarines, how did you feel about this list? moving into away from Death Watch into this, you still have the up down Centurions and some different aspects in there that you might have been trying. How did you feel about that list entirely today?
Pretty good. Its durability because of the stealth and the always being in cover was a big deal. It definitely messed with your efficiency into trying to kill things. The Land Raider lasted a turn longer than it should have, that sort of thing. And I feel good about it. I think I want to work, keep tweaking it. I think I want to try and stay away from you as much as possible, but put as cheap units as possible in to score secondaries and objectives. So I want to play around with the trash mix on it, see how that goes. But other than that, the damage dealing things, the Eradicators, the Dev Sense, the Plasma Inceptors, they all did really well. The Whirlwinds did all right. Not amazing, but also just when I needed to, they could shoot something out of line of sight. So
how many points are they?
They're 180. They're really expensive. Yeah,
they are pretty pricey. Yeah, I'm not sure. How did you like? I mean, the Deathmark reanimation. That's any 10-man can do that. But the Deathmarks themselves, I mean, I did snipe out that Judicar, which was nice in a way. I mean, I pretty much shot the whole squad down anyways.
But I mean, they're just Marine killers, whether it's precision or not. Strength 5, AP 2, 2 damage that is just a Marine killing profile.
That is very strong. I don't know if I really want to run 30. I think if I try this again, since this was a recommended list, like, hey, 30 Deathmarks, I feel like I would want to go down to like 20. Like, just take one less squad, still put the one in deep strike, in strategic. I feel like that would be better. I do think they play really well in that backfield game. Like, being able to be back and still shoot was nice. But I think that I need a little more on the front. The Lich Guard were good. Lich Guard were good, even though I misplayed them early on, because like you were talking about with the objective markers, like we just really did not. Our primary was terrible this game.
Yeah, I had 20. You had 15. I think was our primary score.
Yeah,
and a lot of times people score high on this one because they just keep planting objectives on their side of the table and holding them. So we should have both scored better there.
Yeah, I got, and then where they came in, I got you 4 points on secondaries, just because Hypercrypt. Hypercrypt is really well on secondaries, and I think I made some good choices with some of those secondaries. I'd say the biggest things I would drop out of this list would be that single Locust Destroyer. I mean, that he's 30 points. That's what he's there for. I can drop him out. And probably one squad of the Deathmarks, and maybe put those points into... One thing I was considering was a 6-man of Tomb Blades. Tomb Blades have a scout move. So, that whole thing of like, oh no, I'm going second. What do I do? Or I'm going first. What do I do? They have a 9-inch scout move, 12-inch move base, and they have move, shoot, move inherently, which with Hypercrypt, that's a pretty good thing. And taking a 6-man would be kind of tough to take down. I believe they're OC2 base as bikers, and then Catacomb could take them up to OC3. So
it helps you with that first turn secondary scoring. You need to be on the table to be able to move out and score them without relying on your uppy downies.
Yeah, that was one thing I was looking at in the list. That's why originally I put in the flayed ones, was to be able to get out there. This, because there was no other. The only reason the flayed ones went in strategic was because there was no other objective markers. So there was no like, what am I going to do? I'm going to plant the objective markers, which was a misplay on how I put the Immortals down. I should have had the Immortals out there on turn 1 to plant that objective marker instead of the Deathmarks. And then after I fought with after I was going to the Land Raider and decided to, do work over there, I should have moved the Lich Guard up and just done it. And that would have been 5 extra points. So I was a little too cagey with the Deathmarks. So or not the Deathmarks, the Lich Guard, because I guess I didn't have enough faith behind the Deathmarks. Obviously, I didn't take out the Land Raider, so I wasn't completely wrong to not have faith. But I think I was lacking a lot of faith behind some units. So I was playing a little too cagey, a little too back. And then after I failed to take out the Land Raider, like you said, I was just like, oh, okay, I guess I lost this game. So my mindset isn't, oh, I lost this game. Okay, let's just scoop up. My mindset is, okay, I've lost this game. So let me run everything at you as fast as I can, because one of two things is going to happen. Either A, I'm going to get lucky and accidentally run stuff over at the fight phase, or B, we're going to clear everything off the table early, and then I can go, okay, GG, let's go grab some food or something. But in the end, the Silent King, I got to trust that he's more resilient. You know, having those rocks be able to take damage first before he does helps a lot. The Eradicators not being able to get in Melta range helped a lot. The Plasma Inceptors dropping in the backfield and shooting him in the butt did not help a lot. Yeah. So.
Yeah, they did all right. But then the rest of the army kind of whiffed going into them. So, yeah, the dice really averaged out because I didn't hit you that hard in the slapback and round 2 as we both thought I would. So I kind of corrected a little bit, made for a much more interesting game.
Yeah, no, it's one of those things like you just, and it's, if anything to take away from this game, it's a big thing of don't count yourself out until you're out. Like anything can happen. Like that was, I thought I was sunk because of how much anti-tank you had, and the king was right there in your face. It was not hiding. I'm like, well, that's it. The king's dead. And sure enough, you know, 3 las cannons, the multi-meltas, and the plasma inceptors, he's standing there alive with 8 wounds, and he was able to get out of there. So kind of regretting pulling him too. I think pulling him back to do all the resurrecting game and stuff like that, I probably, you know, for the extra D3 off the reanimator, wasn't really that necessary, especially because how low it was. Like I was like, oh, this will be huge. This will be big impacting. I mean, I was seeing like I rolled 1-1. Oh, I'm getting 2 wounds back and get 2 wounds back by himself. And I think him staying there, I could have moved into the Plasma Inceptors and just fought them. I mean, he was the Oath of Moment target, which scared me a little bit for you to overwatch me. I think that was another big thing is I was constantly looking at like, oh, he's going to overwatch me. Oh, he's going to re-roll. And that fear was a little too much in my head, and it kind of controlled how I was playing things. And I should have probably just pushed, because realistically, even 6s re-rolling, a couple hits maybe, and then you need 5s to wound me, twin linked. Maybe you get a couple wounds. You're not taking the king down, but I still have a 4 up there. I can re-roll it. I probably should have kept the king there and just moved him into the Plasma Inceptors and tried to get them out of there and try to eliminate resources. Because otherwise, the king really didn't do anything in the back. I don't even think as he moved up, his damage that he did. I mean, he took out the 1-2 OC guy who ended up battle shocking anyways. So, any thoughts from you? I've kind of rambled here for a minute. What are your thoughts?
Like I said, I want to tweak some things. I like the idea of the Vanguard. Some people run Marnius Calgar on the list for extra CP, and I definitely think it's a very CP-hungry build. Because as a Space Marine, you always want to use Armor of Contempt. You have the uppy-downy strat, so you want to use the uppy-downy. And then the third thing is that strat that gives you the extra ballistic skill and AP on a shooting infantry unit is really strong on things like Plasma Inceptors and Dev Sense. So I definitely think I could be using more CP, so I don't know if it's worth it to try and squeeze Marnius Calgar in there or not. We'll see.
I think you need to see it on a non-relic game. The relic is one of the missions that really kind of it messes with everything you're trying to do in a game, because now units that would hold objectives and shoot now have to create an objective and then shoot. Yes, granted, you can make objectives close to your side. You can make objectives in a safer place where you control it, but you still have to spend that turn to make the objective marker. And your army did we both did well on secondaries. You know, you had a 30, would you get 35 on their secondaries, and I had 39. So we both did well on secondaries. The only thing was planting the objectives, then holding them. So now, with that being said, do you feel like you had a stronger basis of just holding objective markers already there? Specifically in Hammer and Anvil, we would have had one here and one there. This one, probably not, because of the way the shape of the terrain is, favors me. But that one over there, with the way the terrain shapes, favors you. And you probably could just get in there, get a 5-man to it, and then, you know, like you did with the Land Raider, just push the Land Raider and protect from that side. So it's one of those things that it's like, do you... like what more do you really need in that aspect, or is this just the relic? The relic is a weird one that kind of after you got a list dialed in, you just practice it and figure out what to do. I think every army plays it different.
Yeah, really, I just have to remember to do it. I forgot in turn 2, battle round 2. I forgot to plan an objective. It was not a tactical decision. It was a user error on that one. So definitely remember to make sure you have someone positioned to do that every turn. Like make sure your deployment set up to do that because it makes a huge impact on the game.
Yeah, I wasn't thinking about it much either, too, and I could have brought the reanimator over there. You know, as I was trying to be crafty and resurrect the king to a rock. It wasn't really worth it. I could have brought the reanimator in and started creating objective markers. And as the game went on, that reanimator was going to be very, very difficult to take down. You know, very time consuming too. I mean, heck, the king could have probably made an objective marker there late in the game. You know, that was something I wasn't even thinking about either as well. You know, there's when I was going gung ho at killing the Centurions, which actually ended up mattering for 5 points for that secondary. I could have left the catacomb, or no, I couldn't have because I went second, but previous turns, I probably could have had some opportunities to make objective markers. So, all right. Any final thoughts on this? Any final thoughts on the Necrons, other than the fact that you always hate them? Any positive thoughts?
No positive thoughts about the Necrons.
Oh, come on.
Nothing positive to say.
I give you positive feedback on yours. Come on.
I won't do it in public. Nope.
Oh no. We need this on record. People need to see that people need to see that we are 40K friends.
Just because Death Watch is gone doesn't mean I don't still hate the Xenos.
Okay. So how'd you like the army, though? How'd you feel it played?
Your army?
My army.
Yeah. It was good. Like you said, I think too many death marks running with 20 would be interesting because you need to diversify your damage output between just killing Marines because you fired them into the Land Raider a couple times, just not doing anything because you're wounding on 6s. Yeah. So more of the heavy destroyers because those guys just friggin' slap real hard.
I think I really need a combat presence. I think I need something I talked about the Tomb Blades, but I feel like I need more of a combat presence, something to be able to push up there, like a Catan. Just kidding. I'm not going with a Catan. Not with this build. That's not the point of this build. Could go with a Monolith.
You could.
Monolith hits hard and deep strikes, but too much with the King. So we'll see. I don't know. Well, you guys let us know what you think. You know, maybe some tweaks to these lists. We'll have the lists in our army videos so you guys can take a look and see what we're talking about and let us know what you guys think. What's some tweaks we could make with these lists that we did enjoy today. Next week, what do we got next week? What do you got next week, Lane?
I don't know yet.
All right, so Lane is playing I don't know.
Warhammer 40,000.
Lane is playing I don't know, and I'll probably be playing I haven't figured it out yet. So definitely it'll be an epic game. I think I'm getting tired of painting world eaters. I think it's time for you to put them on the table.
No, you're not done yet. You got to keep painting.
All right, fine. Okay, so no world eaters. Probably Necrons, Obeisance Phalanx, I think is what I'll bring. That's one I'm real excited to play. I really am excited to play Obeisance again with the Immortals and everything like that because that was one that I was having a lot of success with at the end of Leviathan, with the problem being I couldn't score enough points to do well at an RTT or GT when it's like, oh, cool, I just won this game with a score of 65 and everyone else is scoring 80s and 90s. And that was a big problem with the list. Now with Pariah Nexus, I have a lot of battle line. Curious to see how it'll do. So I think it'll be Obeisance Phalanx, and you bring your Votan back, man. Where's your Votan been?
Yeah, it's been a while.
We see them tier soon. Votan Custodes, and you get some other little things work under your hat that you don't wear.
Things?
Oh, I know. I know your tricks. Your tricks of the trade. All right, guys, we're tired. We're going to bed. Not in the same bed. He has to drive home. But as always, thanks for watching. We'll talk to you again soon.